As 2015 comes to a close, we're spending this week looking at some of the worst and the best things that have happened in WWE in the last 52 weeks. Today, I'm ranking the top 8 worst things WWE did in 2015. Number 8, the mistreatment of Sting. Of all the mistreatments of WCW talent since 2001, stings the most. Here's a guy whose status in the business was secured even before signing with WWE, but imagine how much bigger his legend would have become with the hype machine behind him. Instead, he lost at WrestleMania to Triple H and got a condescending head pat for his troubles. Then he got injured at Night of Champions against Seth Rollins, in a match where he already looked weak to begin with, because how can you not beat a guy who had just got beat by John Cena moments before? It's going to take a massive change of direction in 2016 to repair his image, if the company even plans on doing it. Number 7, the Royal Rumble match. After the debacle of the 2014 Royal Rumble match, what made the company think they could pull that crap again? If the Roman Reigns of today won the Rumble match, then it might have been better received, but it was clear that January's Roman Reigns was not ready for prime time. If The Rock can't get you over, then forget it. The Rumble match used to be fun and unpredictable, but the last couple of years it's been, we know who's going to win, you know we know who's going to win, and you're going to sit there and you're going to like it, damn it, and they wonder why their hand-picked guys can't get over. Number 6, Seth Rollins' championship reign. Seth Rollins becoming WWE champion at WrestleMania was an amazing moment. It's too bad it was one of the only highlights of his 8-month reign. I never had a problem with Seth as a cowardly heel, because that kind of character can be a lot of fun, and with the proper build and setup, when he gets his comeuppance, it can be a huge deal. But even though he won all his pay-per-view matches, he lost so often on free TV that he kind of looks like a joke. It's not a good look when you're the champion. It screws the company over in 3 ways. 1, it makes your top guy look like a chump. 2, if you see him lose on free TV, that's not going to convince me to see him lose again possibly on pay-per-view. And 3, when someone finally does take the belt off him, who would they have beaten? Someone with a worse record than Rey Mysterio? Woohoo! A lackluster reign as champion, combined with an anticlimactic surrender of the title due to injury, makes this one of the weaker things to happen in 2015. Number 5, the Ziggler-Rusev Lana Summer Rae storyline, aka back when Rusev and Lana split up in kayfabe earlier this year, I made a dumb little video where I dubbed Mark Barrow's old music over Rusev's entrance video. Little did I know just how closely Rusev's career path would mirror that of the Marvelous One. Much like the Mark Barrow-Sable feud in 1998, this storyline went on for way too long and wasted everybody's time. The only highlight was we got to see Rusev show some character.
It's a fish.
The angle was already screwed when Lana got injured, but when she and Rusev got engaged in real life, it all went to hell. I suppose abruptly cutting off the storyline helped out Rusev in the long run. Had it kept going, he probably would have got a Lana bomb, then she would have run off to marry Brock Lesnar. Wait a minute, I think I'm thinking of someone else. Number 4, the Reed Flair name drop. To me, it wasn't as offensive as it was just plain lazy. For a company that likes to project itself as this good, wholesome, family-friendly business, it sure has no problem going to the gutter every once in a while to get a cheap rise out of fans. Some people say that what happened was okay because it was edgy, but I feel like these days, WWE's version of edgy is the same thing as someone running their friend over with a car and calling it a prank. Inserting real-life tragedy into a storyline can be good if done with tact and discretion, but you can't just force the memory of Charlotte's dead brother into this storyline and expect people to suddenly care. The company has not mentioned Reed Flair's name once since the faux pas, but why did it take all this backlash for it to get to that point? How did it even get past Vince's desk? Number 3, the floundering midcard. This covers guys like Bray Wyatt, Cesaro, Dean Ambrose in particular, but really you can name literally anyone right now and it would still apply because everyone's lost in the shuffle. Look, not everyone is going to be a main eventer, not everyone's even going to get a shot. That being said, I'd like to know what patch of sand creatives been having their heads stuck in for the last couple of years, because it must be really comfortable. I said last year in my resolutions video that I hope the company would resolve to stop doing this 50-50 booking, but I feel like they've been doing it even more this year. When people do finally get pushes, they often come out of nowhere and they're not believable based on how they've been booked in the past. Nobody gets over, everyone is the same. Well, unless you're John Cena, because, you know, LOL. Number 2, the Divas Revolution. Some of the best matches put on by WWE performers this year have featured the women of NXT, which is pretty amazing. Unfortunately, the people in charge of writing for the main roster must have never heard about those matches. The Divas Revolution has to be one of the biggest creative botches of the entire year, maybe even further back than that. It single-handedly ruined the momentum of 3 of NXT's brightest stars, male or female, and created a level of blandness in wrestlers not seen since John Laurinaitis' run as VP of Talent Relations. For an entire quarter of 2015, all we saw were variations of the same 9 women in different, meaningless matches. None of it mattered. These women traded wins like they were pogs. And when the time finally came for some of those women to fight for the Divas Championship, you know, the one thing they should be fighting for all the time, nobody cared. Fans didn't care about the women of NXT because they were women. They cared because they were badasses in the ring and had awesome stories behind them. Meanwhile, WWE told fans this year to care about women like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch specifically because of their gender. We have chicks who can wrestle, guys! Isn't that amazing? Not only that, but by throwing those 3 women in with the other 6 women on the main roster, it stripped them of all of the action and the personalities that got them over in the first place. Now the dust is settled, all we have now are just 3 more women on the roster who are just catty and weird and bitchy like everyone else. Some revolution. And the number 1 worst thing to happen in WWE in 2015 is injuries. Injuries happen all the time in WWE, but I can't recall a time when so many mid to high profile guys all got seriously injured in such a short window of time. There's Seth Rollins, there's Randy Orton, Cesaro just tore his rotator cuff, Daniel Bryan still isn't cleared to wrestle, there's Hideo Itami, there's Sami Zayn, Rusev got hurt twice this year. I'm sure I'm missing more, but what a huge blow to the company to have so many good hands all go down to injury. In my opinion, this rash of injuries has been caused by a combination of the high amount of programming we're seeing on TV, not to mention the fact that the WWE style of wrestling has evolved into this very indie-rific, high-impact style. That style might be fine for someone in Ring of Honor who isn't working 5 days a week or so, but it's not sustainable on a WWE schedule. All these injuries suck individually, but beyond that, they highlight a problem that I mentioned earlier. All that shoddy booking we've been seeing for the last couple of years means that no one left standing is a credible replacement in the main event position. Instead of having a core group of guys with momentum stepping up to the plate and carrying the company into a positive direction going into the future in spite of all these injuries, what we have now is a combination of fear and complacency among the top people in WWE. And they're making all these decisions, these poor, tired decisions that fans have been railing against for years. Now obviously a lot of stuff was thrown off kilter when Seth Rollins got hurt, so one would hope that by 2016 a lot of the chaos will level off and we'll be on the path towards something greater, but history has shown me not to get too optimistic about it. So what are your choices for the worst in WWE this year? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to check back this Thursday when I reveal the 8 best things to happen to WWE in 2015. Be sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.
I'm having a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack.